Hi, so this is a walkthrough of this presentation slides as well as the Google Jamboards. So for those who are not familiar with the flow, this is very specific down to the how to operate it on the slide level. So let's take a look. On the slides, we have a front segment of lectures, which will last us until about slide number 12. At this point, we'll review the content covered and we'll move on straight to the workshop comprising of team and task. So we will tell your team members what the scenario will be and what is the main overarching, I think, challenge that we want to solve. We will also provide them access to their respective Jamboard templates. So please make sure that all your team members are seeing their respective team Jamboards. Once they are in, they should be able to see this page over here. I've already created another video on how to use Jamboard. This is mainly about the templates that follow. So the first one, if they need any say instruction on how to use Jamboard, you can bring them over here and walk them through. Otherwise, we are strictly speaking starting from the second slide. Okay, so the main task has already been given. We will start with the empathize section. And in the empathize section, I will give a brief lecture about how we are supposed to get in touch with the emotional side of users. We will also introduce a variety of interviewing techniques. And these interview techniques, facilitators should be familiar with. For example, if you catch any questions that assumes good or bad, or assumes anything about the interviewee, you should catch them and say, maybe you shouldn't assume that. Or in the second case, you should have a more neutral question. Thirdly, you should always encourage the hows and the whys rather than saying yes or no. So your group members should be asking you questions that encourage stories. For example, could you tell me about a time when you had trouble? Okay. Technique number 4, don't offer answers and cut the interviewee short. In this case, keeping questions simple is often a good strategy. And lastly, keep it short and don't ask more than one question at one time. So if you have group members that throw a whole blast of questions at you, just say, you should ask one question, one at a time. So with that, we are actually structuring this part to have 3 minutes designing 4 to 5 questions to ask per group member. And then they are ready, they should take 10 minutes among themselves. Each of them gets to ask you one question. So we have about 7 members. So that means that you should not have answers that are more than 1 minute long. This should enable us to at least cover one question per person. And if we are fast, 2 questions per person. All those should preferably be structured properly and taken down as notes over here. So we have a slide on the Jamboard that allows us to have them note all their questions over here, and they can sort of pick and choose. Is it a necessity for them to ask only questions that they came up with? Not really, but let's just leave that up to the group members to decide. You don't have to say, oh, you must only ask your own questions. The basic rule is everybody should have a turn, so they should ask only one question at a time. And you just have to make sure that everybody is well covered and has a chance to interact. Interview notes, either yourself should be typing, or you could appoint one of your members to say, hey, could you do me a favor, as I talk, please take down the interview notes so that we know what we have actually spoken about. We can come back to this and refer. So this is 13 minutes, and this is just only part of the first day. And after that, if there's any time left, there's a lot of free time for your group members to interact and talk to each other and discuss. Maybe they want to think about, oh, tomorrow there is a presentation. So maybe we should think about how we are going to, whether we're going to have somebody present for us or whatsoever. Just get familiar with each other as well. So on to day 2. On day 2, we are doing a bit of a recap and we are going down to the define. So in definition, we want to start building a persona, and this is an example persona. As I mentioned before in the video, personas can be completely fictional. It doesn't have to be real. And so I think a main part of facilitator's job here is to actually assure your crew members that, no, this doesn't have to be based on me. It can be somebody who is a very classical, typical person that you want to solve the problem for. And in this particular case, we are obviously not talking about Sarah, the housewife. We're talking about first-time arrivals in Tokyo who are so confused about the public transport system. So another kind of persona would definitely work better. So we can have different kind of persona. And in my particular template, the persona is actually based on 4 things. 1, what are the demographics of this person? Is he young? Is he old? Is he having any religious, any gender kind of specifications? Does he have a family? Do they have certain lifestyles? Next, behaviors. What is this personality? What does he or she, what do they usually do? What are their preferences with respect to, I mean, in this case, our theme is public transport. So what is their preferences in terms of public transport? Do they care about comfort? Do they care about speed? Do they care about, budget friendliness? So those are like preferences they can have. And stresses. What are things that make them very fearful, very anxious, very worried, very unhappy? Things that you can put here. So with all these 4 things filled in, it gives you a pretty good idea of what your persona is. Of course, for the fun of it, you can even include the name of the persona. You can include a portrait of the persona. The name would be required because you want to have somebody who succinctly represents who you are designing for. So we can discuss our solutions and say, hey, do you think like Johnny would like this? Yeah, I think so. Based on whatever we know about him, Johnny seems like he would like this solution. So persona is for that purpose. Next, going down, after we have spent the 10 minutes coming out with a classic persona, we will move to a point of view. We are deepening our understanding of this person. We want to know, hey, what is it that actually causes problems for this person, this persona? So in the case of my previous example, Sarah has an issue with, traveling and, oh, her flight is delayed. If she knew it has been delayed, she would have taken her time. Or, oh, it's delayed and she needs to fly as soon as possible to visit her mother. Okay. Or it's delayed. She has to entertain her playful children to avoid irritating the frustrated passengers. Notice that in all these point of view statements scenarios, we tend to have actually 3 components. I think I should be adding a slide here to make sure that we're covering that. The 3 components are, first, the user, the need, and the reason and rationale. What do I mean by that? The user, what is this person about? What is he like? Are there any relevant demographics? So like Johnny is, a student or a first-time visitor, and he needs to get somewhere maybe, and fast because he's late, okay? And he hates to be late. So we have these 3 parts in the point of view scenario, and I would expect you to help your group members to come up with a statement that comprises these 3 parts. Okay, it doesn't have to be one single one. You can come up with multiple point of view statements, scenarios, not a problem at all. Next, the how might we statements. We are taking it one step further towards a solution. If over here point of view is about the problem, how might we is, let's start thinking about how we can solve the problem. How can we make a particular phase of the travel the most exciting part, the most fun part of the person's day? How can we make a train travel feel like, you're having some kind of a spa treatment? It's all right to be outrageous here, it's fine. Okay, they might come up with something crazy. As mentioned, this is diversive. We want to come up with the craziest ideas. It's fine, no problem at all. This is about 15 minutes for us to actually come up with finally one problem statement and as many how might we statements as we can possibly can. Of course, saying that we aren't come up with one single short paragraph, it's possible that you might have your team members create 3, 4 point of view statements first before you eventually concentrated onto one. That is fine, not a problem at all. The brainstorming phase is going to be a bit more of reminding them that the sky is the limit. don't prejudge. So there are many ways for us to do that. One way is to actually avoid asking them to voice out their ideas one by one. Because when you ask them to publicly say their ideas, they tend to prejudge themselves. Instead, just give them a safe space, safe corner, go onto the Jamboard and invite them to say, hey, as many as you can, none of these have names. We go for quantity and not quality. As many as we can, come up with ideas that you think can actually help us with the how might we problems. To facilitate their process, you might want to paste the how might we problems over here as a text box and just get them to go keep churning out ideas. Okay, there's no need for them to share it right now. This idea seeding task is going to depend on whether I might take this out because I feel that it might not be super relevant if the ideas coming out are good quality. But if it's not, I will give special instructions saying, I'm going to give you a seed word, come out with new ideas. So don't worry about this part. I might take it out, especially because we are short on time. Scamper may or may not be used as well because the ultimate point of this is to expand the ideas if we don't have enough. If we have enough, this is a non-issue. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Moving on to the prototype phase. Prototype phase is pretty much free form. There's a rubric here that I will introduce to them, and they are supposed to have a 5-minute presentation ready. They can use any way they want to present. It can be on the Jamboard over here. It can be a video skit that they recorded via a video camera or their laptop camera. Doesn't matter. Okay. Allow them free reign. At this point, facilitators, you're just participating as sort of a bystander. There's really nothing much for you to do at this point. Just make sure that they're on task. Maybe time management is going to be important. Okay. So with that, I think all's pretty good. And the only other thing I would like to remind everybody is that in a team of 7, 8 members, you're going to have a lot of differing opinion. And sometimes it's good if everybody agrees on something. If you have to take a majority vote and ask everybody to raise their hands, that's an okay idea, but you have to make sure that those minorities are taken care of. So if the minorities have any concerns or objections, make sure they are fully addressed before you adopt the consensus decision. Okay. Otherwise, there are definitely many other ways to arrive at consensus, such as, for example, is there a decision-making rubric that you have for your team? You don't have to prepare that. It's really up to them to say, oh, what is the most important thing we are looking out for? Are we looking out for something that's fun? Are we looking for something that's really feasible? Are we looking for something that can be presented in a very budget-friendly way in terms of time? All those are considerations that you want to take into mind, but not necessary. It can be done, it can be left out, all fine. Okay. During the presentation phase, just sit in as participants. Feel free to give feedback to any other groups. Yeah, and you don't have to be representing your group whatsoever. So that is basically how facilitators will have to be involved in the whole flow of the presentation slides and Jamboard. Thanks for watching.